What I'm going to do is take parts of it and talk about it more in a business form. Now, one of the things Ash did say, and this was, I don't think it was a particular warning, but it was advice to some of the loudspeakers who do regular lives. Now, obviously, I'm one of those guys. I do very regular lives for this business and for you guys to help you and aid you on your journey through to the next phase. So it is certainly aimed at me, not me personally, but as one of the people that do lives and is one of the loudspeakers. And it, bit like Susie said on the live today with Julie and Chris, I have had a look at myself, I suppose. And am I at fault of some of the things that were mentioned there? Yeah, probably. I'm not a hype guy, as you well know. I am certainly a straight talking person, but I do give my opinions. I do, I suppose, speculate a little bit of what my views are on certain topics and subjects, and it is certainly something that I am going to be a lot more mindful of now moving forward as far as our new business is concerned. I shall wait for concrete information before I make any noises about it, rather than giving my views, I suppose, and speculations. So I will be doing that moving forward. Does it mean to say that what I was doing before was wrong? No, it wasn't. Everything that I do for this business is certainly best intentions, that's for sure. But I think it is also an opportunity for all of us to maybe take a look at ourselves and think, are we actually saying and doing the right things as far as us moving forward? I don't think there's any harm in that whatsoever, of having a good look at yourself sometimes and thinking, is what I'm doing, is what I'm saying the right things to say as far as what we are trying to achieve moving forward? So bear all that in mind, guys. It wasn't a telling off. It was just kind advice from our CEO for all of us to be more mindful, I think is the right words. But there was two words in there that I picked out that I expanded and I'm going to talk about today. And that is speculation and wishful thinking. And I'm going to obviously dive into why they are dangerous in the business world, especially in the online business world. And I think that we need to have a look at this to understand the effects of using speculation and wishful thinking out there in the open in the context of business, because it gives you a much better understanding of how it can affect a business in its entirety. So let's start sharing the screen. Let's get on, share screen, and we shall get into it. Okay, here we go then. Okay, the dangers of speculation and wishful thinking in an online business. That's exactly what we are, an online business. In online businesses, speculation and wishful thinking lead to financial waste, poor decision making, and a failure to understand customers and market realities. These cognitive biases can cause businesses to overspend on ineffective digital marketing, miss crucial market opportunities, and make unrealistic projections without a viable strategy. Overcoming these biases requires a commitment to data-driven decisions, constant validation of assumptions, and the development of realistic goals supported by concrete plans and historic benchmarks. Right then, what's all that mean in layman's terms? What is it? Basically, what they're saying here is you can have an idea, but if you start being verbally, publicly speculative about things, then there is a real chance that it will backfire on you. It won't give you the real rewards of what you are looking for, because it might not even come to fruition. Now, let me expand that a little bit more. In the past, our CEO has been similar to that in his own right, hasn't he? He has been speculative about certain things because that's what he was told from his teams, that it was going to be done, it was going to be ready for this date, for that date, and it never came to fruition. Now, was he at fault? No, he wasn't. That was the information that he had given. But having that kind of speculation and wishful thinking about certain things gives off the wrong message. This time round, he's certainly much more cautious. He needs now the data-driven decisions that he requires from his team. He also needs validation of that rather than just assumptions of it, and the development of the realistic goals that support what the tech teams are saying with the concrete plans that they are giving him, so that he knows exactly where he is. This is why he said, tell you when it's ready. He said, when I tell you it's ready, we have already started working on 3 or 4 or 5 other things in the future. We are ahead of what we are actually telling you. And this gets rid of all of that speculation and wishful thinking. And this is one of those lessons learned, isn't it? This is one of those things that have been good for us as far as the next business is concerned, because we don't have to have any speculative or wishful thinking involved in that. And this is really what he's warning us all about. He's warning us that we don't need to be speculative about what is going to happen in the next phase. We don't need to have wishful thinking about what is going to be there, what we're going to have, and all the rest of it. Why? Because nobody knows. It is going to be brand new. It is going to be something that we don't know, that we really don't expect. It is going to be far different from what we are thinking anyway. So there's no need to speculate about it. There's no need to think it might be certain this or certain that, or even ask the likes of us, is this going to be there? Is that going to be there? All those are wishful thinking and speculation. There is no place for it at the moment for us moving forward. We rely on very simple terminologies, facts, plain and simple. That is what we work off from now on in. If our CEO has said it, then we can talk about it. If he is allowing us to talk about certain things, then we will do. But one thing we're not going to do is start speculating on what it might be moving forward. But that also doesn't stop us looking at why certain things are bad or good for business. This is basically what I've been doing over the last 5 months or so, is bringing things to the table so that you understand these words a little bit more, what effect they have on businesses, and how we can do our part to minimize any damage that we might be incurring to that business. We have to do our part. It is as important for us to bolster, to get behind our CEO, to align with him. And part of all of that is to actually do what he's asking us to do. Very simple, really, isn't it? You know, we are not in the marketplace to go against what he is asking us to do. If that is the case, why are we here? We should do everything that he asks us to do so that it aids him in making the right decisions, choices, plans, progress, decisions for the business that inevitably is going to benefit us all. So how speculation and wishful thinking harm an online business? For a start, financial waste. Businesses may overspend on digital marketing by paying for reach that doesn't translate to actual outcomes, or by making unfounded assumptions about customer behavior, leading to wasteful ad budgets. This is why data, that word again, is so important. This is why the surveys are going to be so important. Why? Because you're not using any speculation or wishful thinking that that is what the customers are looking for. If you use data-driven analytics, you know exactly what they are looking for. You know exactly what areas of the globe they are in. You know what time they're looking at their computers. You know what their age demographics are. You know at what point in the day that they are more likely to buy something than others. And this is going to be hugely beneficial to the finances of a business, because they can then start using that data in a very specific way to target the audience that is going to reap the biggest rewards from those adverts that they are going to be putting in front of people. Makes sense, right? Misguided strategy. Wishful thinking can lead to a lack of concrete plan, resulting in unrealistic goals that are impossible to achieve. Instead of a clear strategy, the business operations on a hope rather than data. I firmly believe that us moving forward into this next stage is going to be led on that data. I believe that they are going to use that all rather than just thinking about something, because it makes, again, more sense to have a clear strategy rather than crossing your fingers and hoping. I also believe what's happening now is part of that strategy. All of the O newses that we have had through the back office, the webinars that we have had, all of this is part of that strategy for us moving forward. So we should also aid in that strategy by not mudding the water, I suppose, rather than keeping it clear for our CEO. Misunderstanding customers and the marketplace also hinders a business because of speculation and wishful thinking. Marketers may create buyer personas based on their own desires rather than the actual customer data, leading to an imaginary target audience. This disconnects results in products and services that don't meet real customer needs. What's that mean in real terms? It basically means producing products, services, because you as the marketer like them, rather than what that customer actually wants. Now, I know that our CEO has got that nailed. He said it so many times. If there is a need for it, they will develop it. They're not using their own mind of what they think the customer will want. They are actually gaining and gathering that data of what customers actually want, making a product that fits the problems and solutions of what customers wants, and then putting it out there in the marketplace. Turned it completely the other way around. So it means that they are very proactive in that department. It also causes missed opportunities, a tendency to underestimate negative risks or anomalies. Bias can lead businesses to ignore potential black swan events. Conversely, optimistic bias can cause them to miss opportunities by overestimating positive outcomes and underestimating negative ones. Again, what's that mean in layman's terms? It basically means hype. Okay, hyping up something, it doesn't come to fruition and it falls flat. But the same is the other way. If you're talking negatively about something, it will again underestimate, okay, that positive outcome because of the negativity that is around what you are trying to achieve. So again, you need to be very careful. And our CEO actually talked about this in O News 13. Let's not hype things up. There's no need. The proof will be in the pudding, as they say. That is the hype. The actual realization of the actual thing that is there is going to be what people look at. Not us talking about it, not us going, you, whoa, and geeing everybody up about it. No, it will all be about diligently in the background, beavering away, and then letting the product do the talking, or the application, or whatever it may be. That is the proof that's in the pudding. And that is what is going to be the real hype of the business, the actual thing itself. Obviously, speculation and wishful thinking can lead to poor decision making. Why? Because wishful thinking, often driven by an optimistic bias, can lead to an inflated assessment of an organization's worth and capabilities. This overconfidence can result in assertive but untimely detrimental business decisions, such as unnecessary mergers and acquisitions. I actually believe a little bit of that happened with us in our last business. I think we got off track. We did get sidetracked by unnecessarily mergers, collaborations, acquisitions of certain things. Again, lessons learned. This is why we are not going to be speculative anymore. We are not going to be wishful thinkers anymore. We are going to be data-driven, knowledgeable business. When we need to know, we will need to know. And I'm sure our CEO is doing exactly that behind the scenes. Confirmation bias. Entrepreneurs may seek out information that supports their existing beliefs, disregarding contradictory evidence, and create a false sense of optimism that hinders objective decision making. Basically, what that means is that they will look for information that bolsters up their own beliefs in certain things and disregards anything else because in their mind's eye, they are right in what they are thinking. Good businessmen, good entrepreneurs always seek advice from those around them to get their viewpoints. And I know for a fact our CEO does exactly that. I know for a fact that he seeks other people's advice on certain things. This shows a fantastic character of an entrepreneur because regardless of his own thought process, he wants to make sure that it is the same as the majority of the people so that he has a full picture before he makes any decisions. So how to counteract speculative and wishful thinking? What do you have to do? You have to embrace data-driven decisions. Focus on data and analytics to understand your customer and market rather than relying on personal preferences and assumptions. Exactly what we said. Challenge assumptions. Be prepared to challenge common assumptions within your team and verify the validity of your market efforts. Also, set realistic goals with actionable plans. I've said before, having goals is a great thing, but you also need to have goals that are achievable in small bite-sized pieces, because then once you've achieved them, it gives a huge boost to your team or you individually when you do achieve them. Obviously, you have a long-term goal of where you want to go and what you want to achieve, but you also need to have small goals along the way so that you can celebrate them as real achievements along your journey. Use benchmarks and historical data. When forecasting, use reliable benchmarks, historical data to build models based on what is known, not on wishful projects. Again, very, very important that you take stock of your business as you are going. I've told you before, when the businesses that I've had, I have often made sure that I take a 2 weekly, monthly, 3 monthly figures as my business goes along. That way, it builds up data that I can go back to then forecast growth, expansion, etc., because I have the data there. If you are a brand new startup, then you have to have a look at other businesses that are similar to yours. Why? Because that is where you're going to get the information from, that's historical data that will aid you in your forecasts for your own business. And the last one then, incorporate feedback. Continuously gather feedback on your efforts to correct course and improve your understanding of the market and your customers. Did somebody say surveys? Did somebody say customer feedback? Again, how important is it to get that data information from your customers to know what they are thinking, how you as a company, as a business, are doing in the open market? And the only way you can gather that information is to do surveys, is to have customer feedback, so that you can have that data and you can react to it in a positive manner. Remember, negative comments aren't necessarily a bad thing. They are there so that you can look at yourself as your business and say, is this person right in what they are saying? Can we change something to make it better? This is why it's so important to continually receive that data from your customer base so that you know that you are on the right track. Anyway, guys, I sincerely hope that's been of interest to you. I sincerely hope it is giving you something to think about how speculation and wishful thinking really can be a danger to your online business if you allow it to be. Again, this is one of the reasons why our CEO is telling us this, because he understands exactly what those dangers are, and he doesn't want to fall foul of them into the next phase. Anyway, that's it for me.